AI is disrupting not just graduate, but every role, right? Some might see it as a threat, we see it as an opportunity. And I believe to prepare students to become a lot more resilient, a lot more equipped to deal with the uncertainties and the changes that happens is to give them experience. Give them as many wide, broad experiences as early as possible. David Yip is my name. We are building an Earn While You Learn platform to solve the skills shortage and also the experience gap experienced by university students transitioning from the classroom to their careers. The education system, I think a lot of people know, is broken. It's been broken for quite a long time. And it manifests itself in many different ways. So for example, a lot of employers have been complaining for a long time that the system doesn't produce job-ready graduates, right? Graduates enter the workforce and need to be retrained almost immediately. The system itself has also become really expensive for students as well. The degrees, you heard about the $50,000 arts degrees in Australia, right? Not to mention in the US, they're $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 for a degree, depending on what kind of school you go to. And the ROI for these degrees are now starting to really be questioned. Do I really even need it? I'm a big believer that education is super important, but we do have to transform and modernize it and keep it relevant for this age, and particularly in AI, right? Because it's turning everything upside down. There's a number of problems that we're solving for, but most immediately we're solving for this scale problem, making it a lot more easy for companies to hire university students for short-term engagements without the usual risks and the admin burden and all the sort of the hoops that people have to jump through, and offer students paid gigs while they're studying. AI is disrupting not just graduate, but every role, right? Some might see it as a threat, we see it as an opportunity. And I believe to prepare students to become a lot more resilient, a lot more equipped to deal with the uncertainties and the changes that happens is to give them experience. Give them as many wide, broad experiences as early as possible. Now, not all law graduates end up being a professional lawyer for the rest of their life. Some might even think the law profession is not what they want to do, but they've already invested so much time in it. So why not let's pull that experience a lot earlier so they can experiment and get into work experience in a law firm or in a legal project, for example, and really get to understand, is this profession one I want to invest so many years of effort and resources in, right? And do that across a number of different industries and professions. Do things which you never even thought of doing before, right? Because you're earning income, right? So maybe you'll discover something that you never considered. You have to give young people the opportunity for broad and varied experiences before they decide to go deep and build some deep skills and knowledge in a chosen area. There's many things, but I think number one is to be really, really clear on what's the problem that you're solving. Don't really focus on the money itself. A lot of investors, they want and they have the ability and they want to invest in an amount that actually can really do meaningful work, right? Can achieve meaningful outcomes. As long as the problem is compelling enough, ideally there's also a broader purpose around it, even better. And so the round that we just led, it was pre-revenue, it was in the 7 figures, and it wasn't with a traditional VC firm, it was with angels. And these were experienced businessmen, entrepreneurs themselves, very well established, and they were an industry player. So they invested because they understood what we are doing, and they're in the sector anyway, in an adjacent sector. So it became really, really clear and really compelling to them very early on, right? And hence why they invested such a large amount, even when it's pre-revenue. There was a number of things. I mean, first of all, one of the catalysts for that, it was a redundancy, right? We got a decent package because they had a big restructure a few years ago. So I took that opportunity, and I thought, well, in my couple of years leading the education sector here in Asia Pacific, I saw a massive opportunity that no one was really tackling. So I thought, I've got some time now. I've got some, I sort of tongue-in-cheek call it my seed capital from Salesforce. But it was an opportunity to really get into it, leverage the networks and relationships that I had, the unique insight at a global level that I have. Education has always been something that I've been very passionate about. In my career, I've worked in many industries. And education has been one of these sectors that has always been, a constant. And I've always really enjoyed working with this particular sector, right? Because it's one of these ones where, the saying, the ethos, doing well while doing good comes to mind. You can do a deal in the education sector and do very well out of it, right? Good revenue, good profit and everything else. But it comes with, a very strong purpose. You're doing a lot of really good for the students, for the industry and so on, for jobs. I started looking for other similar kinds of systemic change opportunities. And education is one of these ones where very quickly I realized, geez, the system is really, really broken. And it's well recognized too that it is very broken. And people want to change it. Well, I kind of had these skills which are can be quite useful. Well, there is one, and I mentioned it before, doing well while doing good. That's really the guiding quote or ethos. I think there's a whole movement of entrepreneurial activity around this. That's something that Mark Benioff, the founder of Salesforce, says a lot. Doing well, doing good. In fact, he goes on to say that business is the greatest platform for change. There are certain opportunities where you can do both at the same time, right? Often you're faced with the choice. You can do very well in something and earn high incomes and whatnot, but the doing good part is probably missing, right? Or you can work for a non-profit or a charity and you do a lot of good stuff, but the income's not very good. In order to change a lot of these societal, systemic problems, non-profits is a vehicle for that. But I think being very, very successful in your business is probably even more powerful. Right? So when you are so successful, you can generate the income and the profits to invest in these kind of social impact causes. Requires even more efficiency, even more commercial success than a normal business, right? Not less. So the biggest hurdle is really to change people's mindsets, some of the assumptions that are behind the ways of working that a lot of people may not even be aware of, right? They think, oh no, that can't be done because of X, Y, Z. Well, we have to challenge some of these assumptions. We have to challenge some of these, I guess, habits really, that maybe once upon a time it was relevant, but it's no longer relevant, particularly around in the world of AI. So, the saying, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time, right? This is a big problem. It is very complex, but we have to solve it, and we do it one bit at a time.